Hello there, YouTube. Just a quick video today. I don't have a lot of memory on my phone. Speaking of which, I apologise if the quality is crappy and the focus is really slow. This is just done on my phone. Onwards to the knife review. This is a Manly Patriot fixed blade knife. Alright, a great little all-round utility belt knife, jack of all trades. Master of a few, a great little bang for your buck budget blade. Some very quick, simple specs. You want proper information, you have to go to the website and have a look. Roughly 3.5 inch blade, and the handle has got to be 4.5 to 5 inches long. I wear XL gloves, and when I am choked right up on the choil, you see I still have quite a bit of room at the back there, but that's no big deal because, you know, it gives me more grip to hold onto it and different ways to hold it as well. Now, if you're after any more videos, the only other two English videos I've seen of this, English speaking videos, is Spartan John's, who does a great review, very unbiased, and he gives you a very thought out review of the knife. His is in D2, similar to mine. The other review is by a bloke called, I think it's Lakota 123. I'm not sure about the 123 part. It's definitely Lakota something. His is a tabletop review. His is in 154 cm. And he doesn't have too much to complain about. He's just basically doing what I'm doing, give you an overlook of the knife. I think he only just got it at the time. Spartan John's does have a few complaints, and at the end of his video he even shows him doing some batoning and some feather sticking with it, which is really cool. And I can attest I've done feather sticking with this, and it does a magnificent job. Part of the reason is because the blade, full flat grind, this one's in D2 as I've said. The angle that it's ground to is at 15 degrees is what is written on the little pamphlet, little card thing that you get with it. I won't be able to maintain 15 degrees, and as you can see, this edge has taken a bit of a hit. As soon as this wants to focus, it still cuts, it's still sharp, but just the very tip is just not. You can just see towards the tip there, it's kind of rolled a little bit. I have not gotten around to sharpening it because it means I'm going to have to, the lowest I can go is 17 degrees on my sharpener. I use a workshop guided sharpening system, I think it is. The lowest I can go is 17, which means to do it I'm going to have to redo the whole edge, and it's just going to take time and effort. I have neither of those at the moment. I will do soon, but not at the moment. Both of those reviewers agree it's a great little blade. Spartan John's has actually used his. I think he borrowed his. It belongs to a friend of his, and he borrowed it, and he actually used it, and so he has a little bit more experience with it. One of his main complaints, though, was the handle. All right, the scale's not been thick enough. These are G10 scales. You can get them in wood. Price goes up just like it does if you want to get 154 cm. Price goes up on the knife. Yeah, so he didn't like the thickness. Thickness is perfect for me. For a belt knife, for an everyday carry belt knife, I don't want something too thick. I want it rather slim, something that's not going to get in the way or stick out from my body too much, but still gives me a good purchase when I want to use it. And these handles do just that. Reasonably grippy, nothing too aggressive. The other thing he didn't like was this little nub here at the end. It's almost like a glass breaker or something. I don't know what it is. It hasn't bothered me too much. You have to excuse my dirty hands. I've just come in from the paddocks. Other than that, though, the handles are flush with the tang. Really good. From the tang, we'll look at the thickness of the blade stock. I don't know how thick this is. You have to look on the website. I will say though, this is a well thought out thickness. In my opinion, I found that it's thick enough. You can see it's got a distal taper there too. It's thick enough to give you confidence in the knife, make it give it a sturdy feel. However, I've used this in the kitchen a bit, and it slices like a dream. All right, does a really good job. As I said before, full flat grind definitely helps with the 15-degree edge, but yeah, it does a magnificent slicing job. You can see we've got jimping up on the top. Nothing too aggressive. Spartan John's mentioned he liked the jimping, and we also have it on the chaw heel as well, which I actually think is a good idea. Less likely that your finger is just going to slip and end up on the blade. Okay, so really good knife. I'm loving it so far. If you're thinking of getting one, do it. This costs $75 Australian posted from Bulgaria, and that's a magnificent bang for your buck for Australian dollar. To be honest, G10 handle, full tang, 3.5 inch blade with D2 steel, and onto the next part of the package, Kydex sheath. Great sheath, great for retention. Alright, clips in, and from the day I got it, no wiggle whatsoever. When I first got this, I was carrying it horizontal, scout style on the small of my back, and I was on the trail bike going through paddocks, really rough, really bumpy, mustering sheep. It did not come out once. It's solid in there, and yet a little built-in thumb ramp when you need it. It takes very little effort for it to pop out. As you can see, the indent there relies on this hollowed out pin here for retention. Now, while the sheath itself is great, the mounting system is not magnificent. All right, as you can see, it's only using two screws to hold it in, and that is because you look at where these holes are, not that one, but you know, these ones, they are not actually, like, they're on an angle. All right, they're not actually sitting straight up and down, right angles and all that sort of stuff. And the belt loop, which is also, I believe it's Kydex, they've drilled out a whole bunch of holes, which is great, but they don't actually match up with, like, you can't put screws in, like 4 screws in, all right, because these, as you can see, these bottom eyelets here do not match up with the holes on the back. So you can either screw in this side or you can screw in this side, but you can't do both. All right, this was a problem, all right, because it as you can see, it kind of allows the belt loop to be held away from the knife itself. And I found that it was actually snagging on clothing and stuff, and on seat belts, and just getting in the way. What I end up doing, I wear this on the right side of my body, but I've put the belt loop on the outside of the knife, so the belt actually goes around the knife and it just hugs it right into my body. It does a good job, but it's not great. I will eventually get a custom leather sheath done up by, I think it's RMK Leatherworks Australia. Go check those guys out, they do a great job from what I've seen. Very cool stuff. So that's what I would do. The sheath itself is fine. Like I said, I love the sheath. It's minimal, it's very thin. You can see the built-in drainage hole. Great retention, but this here just isn't great, but it's working for now. Last little note before this video ends. When these screws came, they came with these rubber washers. They were not great. They were too thick and too big, and basically they popped off by themselves after I tightened this up. Alright, they basically, if you've ever worked on a farm, they're like elastrator rubber rings, alright, and they just did not do a great job. However, if you live in Australia, if you've done any sort of woodwork or metalwork, you've probably heard of tech screws. Specifically the metal ones, the ones that are designed for drilling into metal. They come with a little, I wish I had one here, I'm not very well prepared for this. They have little rubber washers that go on them too. I'm not entirely sure why, I guess they've got a reason, but usually out here on the farm we take them off whenever we use them. I took those off a couple of tech screws, and I've thrown them on here, and it's really hard to focus in on it. It looks like it's just part of the nut, I guess you'd call this side of the eyelet or whatever. But it's done a magnificent job. It's just not wanting to focus in for me. Sorry guys. But yeah, they're small enough to have held it in place, so just a little improvement. Thank you very much for watching this video, guys. I hope it's helped someone out.